I'm Hannah.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Grace.
And welcome to Read Between the Grinds, a channel where we talk about our love of books and coffee and everything in between.
We are going to be posting a video every Saturday. The first one we're all going to be together, and then the rest of the Saturdays we're going to take turns.
Since this is our first video, we wanted to introduce ourselves and talk a little bit about our favorite genres and books.
So we are three sisters and best friends, kind of. So this is Laura. Laura is my younger sister. We are about 3 years apart. I'm 30, you are 27.
Yes. Soon to be 28.
Okay, all right,
think.
sure.
Yeah.
Once you get into the late 20s, you'll never know.
There's no telling apart.
We met Grace when Grace was just 2 years old, and I would have been about 12. Laura would have been around 10. We met her at our local library.
At the library, guys.
At the library.
Of course.
And we started babysitting her just every so often, and then we kind of all grew up together. So Grace and I are 10 years apart. So Grace, you are 21? 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll be 31 this year. Oh, Lordy. And so as Grace grew up, we always have loved books. My sister and I grew up reading. Grace did as well. But because we have a little bit more of an age gap, it wasn't until probably like a few years ago that we really all started reading the same kinds of books. And we just had so much fun and really, really enjoyed talking about books together and sharing our thoughts, sharing recommendations.
Yeah, that's like the first thing usually we talk about when we see each other.
Yeah, what
are
you
you reading?
So a few months ago, I had a dream that Laura and I started a booktube channel, and I came to her and I explained the whole dream, and I was like, wouldn't it be crazy? Wouldn't it be fun? And Laura said,
well, why not? Like, what's stopping us?
Yeah,
And
truly.
actually, Hannah and I have been, ever since we were little, we have like these grand dreams about everything. Like every day we're like, what if we did this? What if we did this?
Yeah.
So I'm like really proud of us that we're
actually doing it.
Yeah.
And this is our booktube, obviously, but we will also be posting TikToks and things on our Instagram. You can find us at Read Between the Grinds on every social media platform. Without a doubt, my all-time favorite genre is horror. I can never get enough of horror. Just when I think I haven't read anything disturbing enough, I find the next disturbing book and I'm like, all right, let's amp it up. So many of my videos will be focused on horror and thrillers because that's not something that Laura and Grace gravitate towards, so I'm going to keep that covered. I brought a few of my favorite horror books. The September House is kind of a little bit in between horror and more like a thriller, but I think it's so inventive and well done. Carmilla is the original Dracula story. If you haven't read it, it's amazing, and it's really short, but it is absolutely iconic. And then Stephen King is one of my favorite authors. I brought The Outsider because I really love this book, but I love a lot of his writing. I could go on about horror for a long time, and it's just one of my favorites. But another one of my favorites is fantasy. This is where I would say our Venn diagram intersects.
Yes,
yeah,
for sure.
So I brought a couple of my favorite fantasy authors and books. T. Kingfisher never, ever, ever misses. And I brought a Naomi Novik book. I also love Holly Black, but I figured you might talk a little bit more about Holly Black.
Yeah, she's in there for me. Okay, so I read a little. I don't read horror. And I only read suspense if it's like something that Hannah's told me is like not upsetting. But I do read a little bit of suspense. And the thing that I read the most is fantasy. I have so many good fantasy picks, but like Hannah said, Holly Black. If I had to pick top three, she's probably number one. Just amazing writer. She knows the world of Fae like no other. She can build characters, she can build worlds. It's like, it comes to life. And this book, if you've read the Folk of the Air series, and you haven't read this one, it's amazing. It's all about Cardan, and it's beautiful.
The illustrations.
Yeah. Oh, mine's signed, everyone. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, let's
take a moment. Let's take a moment.
Let's look.
Oh.
Thank you, Holly Black.
Oh.
Thank
We
you,
love
Holly
a Barnes
Black.
& Noble signed edition. Okay. Also, my favorite, tied for number one, V.E. Schwab. She's amazing. Her writing, how do you even write that? Well, it's amazing. We love Addie LaRue, but I have an entire shelf on my bookshelf for Holly Black and for V.E. Schwab. Oh my, what else do I have? Okay, this isn't, it is fantasy, but it's Cloud Cuckoo Land is one of my top 3-5 favorite books. So it's kind of more into historical too, which I also read historical. Just read this one, guys. King Arthur. We need more King Arthur books, okay? And Lev Grossman really came in with this one. It is the best King Arthur book I've ever read. Also have a shelf for him. I will also read realistic fiction. That's my other most read genre. And anything about an animal that's not sad.
I was just going to say, as long as nothing bad happens to the animal.
No. Yeah. But anything with animals, nature theme, amazing. But I'll read a bunch of realistic fiction. I want her to come up with more books. Like, where are her other books? And then the other thing I'm going to be talking about on this channel is children's literature. I work at a library, and I work with kids, and I do a lot with kids' books and children's literature, story time, all that good stuff. And I have a 1-year-old, and we read constantly, and I'm just fascinated and really drawn to children's literature and picture books. So I'm going to be doing some videos on that. But I also just love like juvenile fiction. Winnie the Pooh. My daughter loves it. I love it. It's hilarious. Like, go back and read Winnie the Pooh as an adult because it's so funny and just like charming. So, and then Narnia is like my favorite series. Probably just like a little bit above Harry Potter, but like Narnia.
All right, so my main genres are probably romance, fantasy, and fiction. So my favorite romance book is probably Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I just love Abby. I love how she incorporates animals into all of her romance books. It's just so sweet.
Yeah, I
we all love animals.
Yeah.
I love Taylor Jenkins Reid, especially One True Loves. This book, I read it in one sitting. It's like one of my all-time favorite books ever.
Oh my gosh,
You
I
have to
have
read
read
it.
it.
There you
It's good. She's so good.
The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Haig?
I actually don't know. I've always said Haig, but I don't know.
By Matt. This
Our guy
book
Matt.
changed my life. I can't really talk too much about it without spoiling the plot, but just the journey that our female main character goes through and everything she learns. I just think that everybody should read this book. It really changes your outlook in life. And then, fantasy. I had to mention Fourth Wing. I know that this book is way popular. Like, everyone's read this book, but this is the first, like, adult fantasy book that I've read. I mean, I read a lot of fantasy when I was younger, but I kind of strayed away from it, and this really got me back into it, so shout out to Fourth Wing.
Dragons.
Yes, we love dragons.
Perfect.
I have 2 books that I want to highlight that changed me, I feel like, as a reader. The first is The Great Gatsby. I read this in high school for the first time, as many of us did, but I actually read it 3 times in high school, and this is my original copy. This book kind of really, before then I had read a lot of more children's or juvenile fiction, which is great. Laura would agree. But this book is what really made me realize how books can be so transformative, and I became totally obsessed with it. If asked, I still say that this is my favorite book. It's too hard to pick a favorite book, but this one just really changed me. I could not stop reading it, and I still absolutely love it. I think that the prose is just amazing. He's really amazing, and the story is fantastic. But then I have to say another one, because that was me as a reader maybe in high school and college, but then after I went to grad school, I had a really difficult time reading for fun. I probably read like a handful of books a year for years, because I was just really burnt out from reading for school. And as soon as I graduated from grad school, this was one of the first series that I read on Laura's recommendation. And I could not stop reading it. Like, I stayed up until 2 o'clock in the morning reading again. And that was the first time I had done that since high school. So I kind of credit this series for bringing me back into the world of reading, the world of even the community of reading online, and how much fun that can be.
She's amazing. Mine is The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and very similar to Hannah with The Great Gatsby. I was a teenager, like a young teenager when I read that book, and it just clicked, like something, you know, as often it does with teenagers, like you just get like completely enamored with something and you have to like dive into it completely. And that was me with that book. I read it a million times, you know, I had to quote it all the time. Yeah, I had quotes in my room, you know. But it just like, I already loved books, of course, but then it just showed me how a book can, how deeply you can connect with a book and how it can like teach you new things and open you up to like all these ideas, and that kind of laid the path for me to start reading more like classic literature, more like literary things. And then I was an English major in college, and I think maybe it all started with The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
My book is probably The Women by Kristen Hanna. My mom got me that book for my birthday, actually, a couple of years ago, and I had never read a historical fiction book because to me, reading was always about escaping, because life gets so stressful and overwhelming, and it's just so fun to sit down in a book and be in a completely different world. And so I didn't think that I would ever enjoy a historical fiction, or even just fiction in general. But sitting down and reading The Women really opened my world to fiction books and historical fiction, and they're now two of my favorite genres.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that book. We
So
love
good.
Kristen Hanna. She's
Oh.
so good. What a storyteller.
Honestly.
And we have one more to mention, collectively.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, need we say anything else?
No.
How many of us fell in love with reading as kids with Harry Potter? Like, unfortunately, there's nothing else like it. And I don't know, I haven't found a story quite so captivating. If you have, let us know.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, what will I always like looking at lists. If you enjoyed Harry Potter, you enjoy. Because I mean, the characters,
The world, it's just so
it's
magical.
real. Yeah. And as kids, like I think we were so blessed to be able to be kids, or like young teens, and be in the world of Harry Potter, like in its infancy. Because that was like such a special time, and it'll always hold that magic for me.
Oh, me too.
And I think also this is important for the three of us because this was something that we were able to bond over even when Grace was younger.
Yeah.
And we were all reading different kinds of books at the time. Grace read them as a child, and so we were all able to talk about how much we loved them. It is a shame that the author's dead, though, so...
Okay, so now we're going to do like a quick rapid fire trivia bookish questions. We found this on a list on Google, so we'll see what it holds for us. We're going to answer, like we're going to lock our answers in within like 3 seconds, and then we'll go down the line.
And we don't know, like I haven't even looked at these questions, so this is going to be really stressful.
Yeah, because it's so hard. Like if it's, you know, once again, you can't pick a favorite book.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
Okay.
so the first question is, what's the best book you've read over the past year?
Past year, I almost have to look at my Goodreads.
Just like the first thing that jumps out to you.
Okay, all right.
I can't think of one single book that I've read. Like, not even one. Wait.
I think it's probably Carmilla. I read it at the beginning of this year.
Okay, yeah. Mine is The Bright Sword.
Mine is Quicksilver. Changed my life. Read it in one sitting. I couldn't put
I have
it down.
to read that. Okay. Which fictional character do you feel the deepest connection with?
I'm looking at my book.
First thing that comes to your mind. Okay.
I have one. I can't think of a specific one, but probably a character from Emily Henry's books, like one of the female main characters.
Oh, that's a good
I love them a lot, and I just feel like they're so I connect with them a lot.
Okay. Mine's such a juvenile fiction book. It's just the first thing that came to my mind, Lucy Pevensey.
Yeah.
Because like as a child, like I was
You were
like,
Lucy
yes,
Pevensey as a
I
child,
like
yeah.
I would be the one to find a door in a wardrobe and be like, no, you guys don't understand. There's literally a whole land in this wardrobe. And also, I named my daughter Lucy. So
Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind is the male main character from Yours Truly, which I just talked about. I think his name is Jacob.
Yeah.
But I'm such an overthinker, and so I see so much of myself in him.
I really appreciated that character.
Right? I love him.
Oh, what are you reading right now? So easy.
I am reading, oh my goodness, it's called The Emperor of Gladness.
Oh.
Ocean Vuong. I don't know exactly how to say his last name. His new book.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I'm reading The Sirens by Amelia Hart. Isn't that? Yeah, Amelia Hart.
I am reading Spark of the Everflame, which you might see me talking about soon.
Okay, how do you make time for reading?
You know, it's funny because sometimes people ask me how I read so much, and I think it's just because it's my number one hobby. Like, if I'm going to sit down and do something after work or on the weekends, like, it is the first thing I turn toward.
Yeah.
Right.
So it just, I don't make time for it. It makes time for itself.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Go ahead, Grace.
I also love audiobooks, so even if I'm cleaning or
yeah.
something, I found myself reaching for an audiobook even more than music, which a few years ago I wouldn't be saying the same thing, but even when I'm just cleaning, I'm listening to a book.
Yeah, I do listen to audiobooks like while my daughter
Yeah.
naps, and I do like those coloring apps.
Yeah, that's
So
what
relaxing.
I do too.
Yeah, it's really relaxing.
Yeah.
It helps me like really focus on the book that I'm listening to. So I do the audiobooks. I don't read as much. I used to try to read 100 books a year, but I have a 1-year-old. And yeah. So I make time for physically reading a book. Basically if my husband makes time for that sometimes. Like last weekend he was like, go read it in the pool. And I was like, great. So,
Sure, no problem.
yeah, we do that. And then just like here and there I find time to read my books, but I do read less. Okay. Are you a rereader?
Only with like my most beloved books. I don't reread very much.
Same.
Yeah.
I think that's the same.
I want to start rereading more because there are so many books that I have loved, and I think I would get more out of it from reading it again.
Yes.
But there's so many books, I'm just like, I have to read everything.
I know. I'm
It's
like,
hard.
I don't want to waste time. Not like
No,
especially
it feels like
now
wasting time.
Yeah.
when you're
It
like, I
does.
could read a new book. Like there's
Yeah.
so many books you want
Right.
to read,
Yeah.
but I forget things really easily.
Me too.
So that's gonna be a challenge for these videos to remember details, to talk about them.
Yeah.
But I know that I could reread a book that I read last year, and it would probably be mostly
Yeah.
New. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
So,
I forgot that happened.
I could do that, but I don't really not that often. Let's do. Well, that one was kind of similar to what we just did. Is there a book you think would make a great movie?
Yes. And I just was talking about this, and what was it?
Wait, I have mine.
Yeah.
Please, can we have it?
Yeah.
I want another like really good fantasy movie series. Like how long has it been since we had that? Or like a show? I think it'd be a better movie, but yes.
I think I think the Throne of Glass series, I just finished reading that series for the first time. I was kind of hesitant to pick it up, but I think truly that would make a fantastic show. I'm looking at Grace because she's also reading them. Laura has not.
Yeah, I do too.
But somebody good, like HBO would have to do
yeah.
it. It would have to be like high level. I also think, again, this might be because it's just sitting right next to me, but I think the September House or possibly the Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher as well would make some fantastic horror movies.
I think Divine Rivals would make a really good fantasy movie with like the war aspects. I think it would be really cool to see on screen.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, this one is, if you could date or be best friends with a fictional character, who would it be?
All of them.
I know, like I just looked over it with the Winnie the Pooh book, like
Oh,
can you not be best friends with Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like we would have so much fun eating snacks together. Do you guys have anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, the first thing that popped into my mind, and maybe it's because I literally just said it, but I would love to know the characters from either the ACOTAR series or Throne of Glass, like to be in that like inner circle of ACOTAR, or like those ones are so cool. But also, then right after I thought that, I thought I would love to exist in the world and be friends with the people from A Man Called Ova by Frederick Bachman.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
I immediately thought of Taryn and Andarna from Fourth Wing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love them so much, and I love their
Yeah.
dynamic together.
Yeah.
And just to see that firsthand, that would be really, really fun.
Also, to have a dragon as a best friend.
Oh, right.
Ugh.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, like an animal one.
Yeah.
That would be so fun.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm gonna have to say Harry Potter again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so true.
Well, yeah.
Can I be best friends with Hagrid?
Mm-hmm.
Can I be best friends with Lupin?
Oh.
Can I be best friends with Ron? All of them,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do just a couple more. Oh, how do you get out of the reading rut?
I immediately go for either a really like short horror or something that's like extremely captivating and horrible, or or a romance or a thriller, like a very like standard run of the mill thriller, something that is going to keep me turning the pages, and then that gets me right back into it.
I would say that I pick up an audiobook just because I can be doing something else while listening to it, and it's not just sitting there reading a book when I don't feel like reading.
Yes. Oh man, I don't even know, because like sometimes I try to do like the page turner thing, but the problem is like a lot of the page turner books, I don't read those genres. Like they can usually like they're suspense or maybe like romance. So like someone, if I have an author, like I know Taylor Jenkins Reid, like I'm gonna read her new book, like that would be something I go to if I'm in a reading rut. But I just like hope, I cross my fingers that like the next book that I try to read. Usually like I get in a reading rut though, like if I'm reading a really slow book, so sometimes I just like put it back, you know, try a different one.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do one more. Okay. What's your favorite bookstore? All of them.
Wow.
It's like I just want to say like Half Price Books.
Me too.
Because you never know what you're gonna find.
Yeah.
But I have to say Barnes and Noble. I have to say Barnes and Noble because the environment for me is like the happiest place ever. You walk in the doors, and I just like smell, like I take a deep breath in.
Yeah.
Because it's just that. It's that book smell with the coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And then the children's section is just, because, like, it's our local Barnes & Noble. We would pick out books when we were kids. So, like, the nostalgia.
Mine is actually a local bookstore that they actually recently moved, and I haven't been to their new location yet. So maybe I don't love the new location as much. But I would go there quite often, and it's really small. And maybe their new location is bigger, but it was really small, and so it was pretty curated. Like it wasn't like a Barnes & Noble where there was like all kinds of books, which was kind of cool because first of all, you could look through everything, but also it felt really intentional. Like the books that they picked, they were either like bestsellers or like really, really like, you know, classics or things like that. And they had a lot of like written recommendations from the employees and things.
I like when they do that.
Yeah. So I bought a lot of books there just because I liked supporting them, but also because it just felt like I was like, it wasn't like I was walking into the Walmart of books, which sometimes I feel that way with Barnes & Noble. And don't get me wrong, I love that, but you can pretty much find anything there. And so sometimes it's kind of like, I don't know, depending on what kind of vibe you're looking for. I really like a small local store that's like very curated for that reason.
Yeah.
I love Half Price Books just because you never know what you're gonna find, and you can also find like older copies of books, old covers that they don't make anymore. You can find some gems there.
Yeah, so true. And just like getting lost in all the little sections.
It's so fun.
Oh my gosh.
So
Plus they do have like some new things there too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. If you've made it this far, we're so glad you're here. We hope that you like what we have planned. And we're just really excited. I love watching people talk about books, being surrounded by books, talking about books. So we're excited to get into that more. So
Thanks for joining, and happy
reading.